Alumni Series is one step towards that direction. This is a platform where GIIS alumni are given the spotlight to revel in the glory of their achievements, from school life stories to real life struggles and successes too. It is a place where our alumni are celebrated for distinguishing themselves among the crowds of young workforce out there who are working hard in their individual fields to reshape their world as we know it. This is a place where GIIS celebrates the alumni who have carved a niche for themselves in this world. And in this maiden episode of GIIS Distinguished Alumni Series, I am pleased to welcome our accomplished alumna from 2008 cohort, who has not just made a mark into the workforce, but leaped and jumped into success. Her talent and determination has made her a role model. Many of us, including me, will aspire to be after today's event. But I want you all to hear her story from herself. So please welcome entrepreneur and CEO Ms Trisha Pathak. You are our first guest in this new student engagement series, meant to be giving hope and inspiration and ideas to our students on what the future can look like. So how does it feel to be here in this platform?
I was like, which school is this? I was like, this is not the school that I started with, yeah? And like when we came, I was telling Sonia, I was like, we had cola. Like our choice of what we're gonna eat was like idli, dosa, and on a good day, French fries. When I look at this campus, it's absolutely stunning. I was very, very happy. It was absolutely stunning.
And how does it feel to be back?
Overwhelming. Absolutely overwhelming, but also really proud. You know, I met Apple Sir. We were speaking at an event last year in Athens, in Greece. And I met him as when I came a couple of weeks ago to the campus. I was like, yeah, what we've done, look at what you've done. And it's so humbling, it's amazing.
Fantastic. I know how you feel about the school. And I'm sure all of us do share the same sentiments, and in the future we'll look back fondly upon this place. I'm in 12th grade now, many of us are seniors, so I mean, we can share the emotion. But sentiments aside, I'm curious, as is everyone else in the auditorium, to know more about your lives after school. So I hear you were keen to take a particular path, but then ended up going towards a different direction.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So in university, so I did my undergrad at McGill, then at Harvard. I studied neuropsychology and theater. Theater, because that was actually my passion. I was quite certain Bollywood or Broadway. That was neuropsychology, because I was like, that's what my dad would pay for. So I absolutely loved it. Both of them, they really gave me an understanding of different aspects of the human mind. And right after that, I got into film school. I got to Lee Stratford, which is where I wanted to study. But my dad gave me a condition, which was get a corporate job for 1 year. If you like it, fair enough, you can stay on. If you don't, I'll pay for film school. I got into a corporate job. At that point in time, everyone was applying to the big four. It was Deloitte, PwC, KPMG. And I was like, okay, why don't I do the same? I went in, I was from an art and a science background. I was like, what do business people do? And I was like, they read Forbes and they read The Economist. So I went with a big bag and I had both the magazines sticking out. And when my interviewer came in, I deliberately dropped the magazine because I was like, he should know that's what I read with my morning coffee as well, very business-like of me. Thankfully, he spoke to me about theater, which I was very happy about. And I started in management consulting. I spent my 20s basically living out of a suitcase, living in Vietnam, living in Cambodia, in Jakarta, and in a lot of the frontier markets in Malaysia. And never looked back since. Business was always something that I was very passionate about.
That's really nice to hear. So I think it's not wrong to say that you were steering your vehicle in one direction, but at one point you swayed onto a different route.
Oh, my dad. Yes.
So what did this route take you towards?
Well, I was very passionate about two things. It was solving problems, and it was solving problems when it came to people. We spend, and this is an underestimate, but we spend 70% of our waking hours, especially when we get older, at work. And a lot of times, it's like a loveless marriage. People do it because they're like, okay, I study finance, I want to become a finance manager, I become a CFO, and you kind of go along with the grudge. What I'm really passionate about is finding what makes people tick. What's going to get them excited at work, what's going to bring out the best in them. And so that's sort of really where I've ended up in, and that's what my startup is about as well.
That's really great to hear. That is a lot of achievements to take in one go, but I would definitely like to be in your place in the future, in someday or the other. And I'm sure it was not easy. What was the most difficult part of this? And what was the easiest? I mean, of course, nothing was easy, but anyway.
The toughest part, I would say, was not having a playbook. I was in my late 20s. I was a very young CHRO, Chief HR Officer of a multinational company, and I was living in Shanghai. I got a call from my team in Wuhan in 2020 saying COVID's happening. And at that point of time, it was all about I want to be C-suite. I want to be C-suite. Being in a position of power when something happens and you don't have a playbook is really it's really a lot. Even now when I think about it, especially with my Asian markets were hit first, one by one, like Wuhan, Shanghai, Singapore, all of that happening. The toughest thing was really being there without a playbook and trying to figure out, going back to all of the learnings that you had from your school days. What do I think about? How do I structure my thoughts? When there's so much emotion, when there's so much chaos around you, I would say the toughest part. You come out stronger, but when you go back in that position, nothing can prepare you for that. So you really go back to your basics, to your foundations.
What about the easiest part?
The easiest part, have fun with it. Absolutely have fun with it. If you're not having fun doing what you are, forget what people are saying, don't do it.
That's really great to hear. Okay, so in all Asian families, parents do play a very important role in the direction that their child takes in life. They are our guide, our mentors, and sometimes they can be a bit too much to handle. And I'm sure you're no exception. So which one of these three is true for you?
So when it came to my parents, I remember, so I got into a lot of trouble. I was not an easy kid. My parents still, when I call them in the middle of the night, they remind me that I was not an easy kid. But then I got into trouble. I had a massive phone bill. I was like 14 or 15, like huge phone bill. I was like, who are you calling? I was like, that's my long distance boyfriend. And I was like, this is like real love, this is like, I promise you, he's the one I'm gonna marry. Yeah, no, I'm not marrying him. But I got a massive phone bill. And I was like, okay, I'm in trouble. Whatever I'm gonna do to get out of trouble. And so I came up with this line, which now it brings much truer than when the actress in me came up with it at 14 or 15, which is, this is the first time I'm a teenager, but I realized this is the first time your parents to a teenager. So it's empathy from both ends. They want the best for you, clearly, but they're also kind of running without a vehicle, the same way you are. So if there's empathy on both sides, hopefully that's something that takes you through this journey together.
That's really true. I think a lot of us can relate to that.
Use it when you're in trouble. Use this line. Guaranteed you get out of it.
So, what about the teachers? You see new faces around your day. So most of the teachers have moved on, most of your teachers have moved on, and new faces have come. But I'm sure they have been influencers in your life. So could you share some anecdotes about teachers?
Oh, absolutely. I was literally telling Melissa that. When I was 16, I had a tutor who was my Hindi teacher. And I was convinced, I was going to all my Arnold, and I was convinced, because of her, that I would become a cubby, right? And you're right. I think you convinced me. I thought you maybe can we keep poetry? Yeah, she
Guys, can you please make some time?
Yeah, so Arjuna, I was 16, I was doing IB with Arjuna, and I was like going through this really existential crisis. I was like, dunya kya hai? And Arjuna was like, haan, dekho. I was like, dunya kya hai? And I like keep asking these questions, but I never come up with an answer. But I had this one line at the end, dunya hamari andar hai. Arjuna was like, wah, beta, kya likha hai? I'm not a poet right now, but thanks to Andrea, she took me to explore the poetess inside me, and she listened with so much patience. So thank you, Andrea, for all of that. I use that now with my fiance, and I'm like, what is the word that you are? But I use it in French now. C'est quoi? And he's like, c'est quoi? What is it? I'm like, I don't know. So I can do it at 16, and I don't know it is like 13. So thank you, Arjuna. It really meant a lot to me.
So you have been a globetrotter. You have lived and worked in the most exciting cities in the world. You live in one of the most picturesque countries in the world, and you own businesses in some of the most happening places in the world. So is there anything else that you want to achieve, and would you say there is still a dream inside you that you want to fulfill?
Oh my God, we totally, like, absolutely. When I did my first target to my co-founder, Chinay, my co-founder, when he was 13, before he turned 30, he built his first business to a $600 million business. So when I look at him, I'm like, okay, guys, we're going to be getting that. There's always going to be a dream. It's never going to be enough. There's always going to be a dream. It's never going to be enough. But I think what's nice sometimes is to have moments like this where you take stock, which is amazing.
That's nice to hear. So I hope, Ms. Trish, I hope all your dreams come true. Okay. Trish, I hope all of your dreams do come true and you continue to be an inspiring figure for me and all of us juniors and seniors who are aspiring to be like you in the future. But for that, we will need some good advice and some good tips so that can be our ammunition for our own individual salaries.
So there's a question for those of you that will, and I'm certain that you will, go to Stanford, that they ask. It's a very Stanford essay, which is, and the question that they ask you is, what means the most to you and why? And it's, I was 30 when I was applying for my master's at Stanford, and I thought I had it figured out. I was like, oh, that's such a simple question. What means most to me? I've been working this, I've done all of this. And honestly, it's the toughest question. And even if you ask yourself today and you ask yourself 10 years later, I think it's a great question to ask. And the meaning changes, but hopefully somewhere inside, certain elements that get you to what means the most to you in life, they stay the same. And the journey that I started over here, the journey that I've continued in life, it really begins with a few thoughts, and these thoughts build over time as you grow. So 3 thoughts that I would like to share with you, and some of which I've already shared, but I thought this is a nice time just to bring it all back together. The first one, nothing comes by chance. These were the internships that I had before I turned 17. So I would just start sending emails out. I would hound all of my dad's friends, but then people stopped coming to my house for dinner because I was like, I'm going to internship here. I'll do it for free. Whatever you want, I'll sit at the reception, I'll do whatever you want. There's one which actually Atul sir helped me get. There's Amitabh Bachchan over here. Thanks to GIS, one of my very fond internships was at Times of India. They were hiring 4 interns, all thankfully to Atul sir from GIS, and we got the chance for a few weeks to be TV journalists. And I was sitting next to Amitabh Bachchan, and I was interviewing him on TV. And I asked him, amazingly, asked him that question, Mr. Bachchan, you've been doing this for ages, what means most to you and why? And he told me, you will never have the answer to that question, but keep asking yourself that question every time you're in a little bit of a dilemma. Though I also have a funny story with that, because there was this very mean girl who was a part of my internship, I won't say who, and she dropped an entire bowl of sambar rice on my dress right before the interview. So literally, I was sitting next to him smelling like kobulas, and God, what is that smell? So hopefully, I don't think he'll remember me. I'm sure he would still remember that smell. But really, the first part, guys, keep trying, try different things. This is really the time that you get to do it. I wouldn't know what I want right now if it wasn't starting by trying so many different things that hopefully start to get you to the answer. The second one is find what makes you tick. There is what you're good at, and there's what you love. Either or is never enough. You want to be able to find that intersection that gets you figuring out what makes you tick. I would have loved theater, but if I did it staying in a jolly apartment in New York, I could have loved it. But I don't think I wasn't very good. And my father tells me that was okay, I wasn't the best at it. And I could have loved a corporate job, but which would have given me the money. But if I wasn't happy waking up 9 to 5, again, loveless marriage, really not worth it. And what you're going to do, 70% of your waking hour should be something that drives you, should be something that gets you really excited. And my third thing, and this is something my mom reminded me. So I have a startup. It's called Accelerate, and what we do is exactly that. We bring it out now with AI. It's an AI SaaS startup. Now with AI, we can actually personalize talent journeys for people. What used to happen, just my 2 cents on this, what used to happen is talent management in companies was only relegated to the top 5-10%. So it was just, okay, you're a high performer, you're high potential, we're going to do a talent journey for you because you're going to bring a lot to our company. What we've done with AI, we've managed to, with the same cost and in fact less, we managed to scale that up to 80% of an organization. So yesterday we were going live with DBS, the bank in Singapore, and I was on the phone with my mom the day before. Oh my God, this is happening, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, Trish, is it ever enough? Is it ever enough? And that's a question that I was asked. When I was your age, I was like, oh my God, good predicted. Hopefully I finish my TOK on time. Hopefully my EE, which actually Anju Ram was helping me with my extended essay, which is on Ramayana and Mahabharata, funnily. I was like, dear Hojam, it's going to be fantastic. I'll get into good university. That's going to be enough. When I was in university, I thought getting a great job with a salary, that's going to be enough. When I finished that amazing position, I want to be youngest partner, I want to be youngest C-suite. It's never enough. It wasn't enough, and it will not be enough. But guys, the one thing that I'm still working on, and I hope you guys, if there's one thing that you take away from this, is don't get on a hedonic treadmill. It will never be enough, not for you, not for your parents, not for the world around you, but go back to the first question that I asked, which is what means the most to you and why? So those are my 3 things that hopefully you guys take away from it.
So Trish, we're going to be playing a Q&A game. It's going to be grab a Nordic and Ellen Hitler and his style. So shoot to their genre, and at the end of the session, you will be receiving a gift hamper. But there is a catch. So the thing is, for every question that you answer well, we'll add a topic to your gift hamper. But for every poorly answered or unanswered question, you'll have to drink one of these shots. And that was your supposed to be distinguished alumni. Then not alcoholic shots. Then the 3 things. High quickly seeking balance. Then the 3 things.
Yes, you can totally ignore it. If you want to come drink this with me, I'm very happy. I'll share the love. I know you're looking at the shot before. Please, come on.
Okay, so how well the question is answered will be determined by you guys. You guys will have to clap. You really like the answer. If not,
if you want an internship at my AI, very nice company, you'd be nice to me. Just saying.
Okay, ready? The audience ready. very good. Okay. Pick up a question from the board.
What's your guilty pleasure song that must stay on your playlist? Oh, yeah. The honest answer? I Will Survive.
Okay, I don't know that song. Who's it by?
I Will Survive, dude, come on. I Will Survive? How do you not know that
I think you're gonna have to take a shot for that.
I Will Survive.
Okay, next question. Okay, what's more challenging, school group projects or office meetings?
Okay, honestly, at Stanford, school group projects. Because everyone is so type A, and everyone is like, oh, I know the answer. At least at work, I'm like, listen, you want to be enrolled or not? I cannot say that as a school group project, but over here, I make sure they get their salaries. So school group project anytime. Oh, which emoji best describes you from GIS versus the CEO self? I would say the CEO self, it's the ghost emoji because I feel dead most of the time. Emoji I love, it's like, you know that one that looks really terrible, the one eye closed and the tongue out, that is. Oh my god. Oh god, this is a good one. Did you use blind spots in the school for nefarious purposes? Two. The thing is, we had a much bigger school. We didn't have that many blind spots. There was two. I wouldn't say whether it was me or a couple of friends. I would just say what were used for nefarious purposes. There was two. Dude, no one goes to the library at lunch, yeah? Like, don't pretend. So it's always very empty during lunch, so that's the time. The second one was in Queenstown, for those who remember, right behind the building was a parking lot. And that was the place to go after school. We're like, oh, sorry, extra classes here, but there was no extra classes. That's basically where everyone was jamming, having a good day. So yes, the library and the parking lot was our go-to. The most bizarre excuse I gave for missing homework or a deadline. Look, when in doubt, always like, especially like thanks to COVID, always keep like a photo of COVID, of like the COVID double line thing. So we're like, oh my god, so sorry. You sent the same photo, and like once you send it twice, like, you have the same test. And I was like, oh god, don't send the antigen test so many times. So not in line once. I use COVID. The other time, it was not that my dog died, but I would say something close. Okay. This is half true. It was, and it happens to me a lot. So it's, I have this habit where if there's glass, I bang into it nose first. I'm not even joking. I've done it 3 times. I've done it 3 times in the last year. It's actually not that much. to everyone, like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. That was a broken nose. I bumped myself into the glass because I was working too hard.
Okay, so I think of course that I wasn't as nice.
I went from 3 intentions to 2. If your teenage self could see you now, what would they say? Damn, girl! These are fun ones. I kid you not, I was telling Melissa and the team I was like, I was so anxious about this last night. I was speaking to my co-founder. We just finished a project in TPS, and I said, listen, I don't know what they're gonna ask me. So I went to the history of GIS. I was like, who's Atul sir's mom's name? Who was my first principal? Did he have an affair? I started reading up on the whole thing. Did not have an affair.
Oh, guys, thank you.
Fame with privacy or success with total anonymity? Definitely success with total anonymity. I would much rather, so I stopped using social media about 10 years ago because I kind of realized that all it did was make me feel pretty bad about myself. And everyone was posting this version of life, which was always after Ritz, always by the pool. And I was like, why am I working and I'm still printing papers? It's 2 o'clock in the night. And I started to dislike my life. And I kind of decided, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna have fun for myself, for people around me. Honestly, there's nothing that I felt I got out of knowing that much about people's life and knowing the version of the life that they were happy to publish. So I decided to choose, no one needs to know about my life. People who want to know about it, I will meet them and I'm happy to drop them a call, drop them a text. And if I mean a lot to them, they would text me where they are in life. So definitely total anonymity for me is the way to go. If your school desk could talk, what's the one secret it would spill? Ooh, let's have that. Honestly, the one secret I would probably spill was all of the very emo Hindi poems I used to write, thinking that I had it all figured out. But no, I was just humble, and I thought I was much better than I was. Except the only one that trusted me, that listened to all of those sad poetry was Anju Man. So thank you,
Okay, so that's the end of that segment. Trish, you've been such a sport.
Thank you guys so much.
So for all of your effort and to impress you with our talent, we will now have our culinary club students make you a mocktail. That will help utilize the effect of the mystery base.
That would be amazing. And I have a bar that I own that with my daughter.
Guys, we need to be silent. Guys, she's telling us something important that will decide what I'm listening.
So I own a pretty cool bar, which is one of the top 5 rooftop bars in Singapore, with my brother, who also went to GIIS. So you guys are more than welcome. Let the bartenders know you're from GIS. It's called Mortar and Pestle. It's a rooftop bar, which is right next to Plum Street. So if you guys are there, say you're from GIS. If you're 18, if you're not 18, you can come still. But if you're 18, so today we are bringing you a drink that is as iconic as its name, the Shirley Temple. It's classy, refreshing, and a little dramatic. Did you know this drink is named after Shirley Temple, a child actress from the 1930s? She became popular at the age of 6. At some point of time, all of us have wanted to try a grown-up version of something, right? The same curiousness took place with Shirley Temple, the young actress, because she couldn't have the adult cocktails at Hollywood events, but still wanted to feel included. That's when a bartender created this fun and fancy drink just for her to enjoy, and that's exactly how it got famous. The Shirley Temple is often considered the first cocktail to be ever made. So let's start. Let's start off with some grenadine syrup. For those of you who do not know what grenadine syrup is, it's made up of pomegranate fruit. So we're gonna layer it up like that. Now we will be layering it up with some olive juice to add a tangy flavor. You can also use lime juice to add a citrusy flavor to your drink as an alternative. You can see the beautiful color of the drink already. Now let's top it off with some Sprite or ginger ale, whatever you prefer. Now we will be garnishing it with some garnish. I hope you enjoy your drink. There you go, voila! Send across the details if you're interested in summer. And in fact, we're taking interns, we're taking interns past them, so we've got already two for pre-university. So 17 to 18 in different functions, customer success, product. We have our tech team is half of IIT Mumbai, who's in there, and they're really fantastic. Or sales, if you want to work with me. We'll send the details across. We'll be looking for one intern that is left. So if you guys are interested, we'd love to have you accelerate.
Thank you once again, Ms. Trish, for joining us this afternoon. It was really wonderful to have you for the GIIS Distinguished Alumni Series. You have truly inspired all of us, and we've learned a lot from your journey, and we hope you achieve our goals just like you did. That's all.